Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Media Snack Meets. My name is Tom Denford. I am co-founder and CEO of ID Comms. My special guest for this episode is Nandini Jammi, who's co-founder of Check My Ads Institute. Hey, guys.
Hello, gentlemen.
Where are you? There you are.
Welcome to Media Snack Meets, where we get to meet the individuals and organizations doing great work to inspire success and drive change through the global media and marketing industry. Because the best are short on time, we ask just 6 questions in 15 minutes. We get to learn what is behind the success, what it takes to make change in the industry, and what the rest of us can learn from that experience. Please subscribe to get alerts of all upcoming guest episodes.
Nandini, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. The name of your podcast is making me hungry.
It is indeed. When we started off, I used to say, because we would do like these little 10-minute bite-sized episodes. That was what it was about. It was about taking a view of the marketplace, and we used to say, in just the time it takes to eat a sandwich, and then that would be our little strapline that we'd say every week, and people would email back, this episode was too long. I could have eaten 2 sandwiches in this episode. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was the idea. We should have lunch, really. We're doing this at lunch. Great. Thank you so much. As I said to you just pre-show, I was like so excited to have you on because I feel like you've really got a story to tell about media. So I'm really keen to kind of get into this. So for those that don't know, you're very visible across social platforms. It's brilliant. I love watching your stuff. But for those that haven't yet come across you or your co-founder, Claire, or Check My Ads Institute, tell us what it is that you do. And give us something that you're kind of proud of since you started this.
Well, thank you, first of all, so much for having me on the show and for your kind words. I'm very excited to be here as well. I, along with my co-founder, Claire Atkin, we are the co-founders of Check My Ads Institute. We are the first and only ad tech watchdog. We launched in the end of 2021. Mm-hmm. We've been in operation for over a year now, essentially formalizing the work that we have been doing, and particularly that I have been doing since 2016. We started as I sort of fell into this work as I was a growth marketer working for small tech companies in Europe, actually, and fell into this work when I found ads running on Breitbart.com, and fell into an entire world of ad tech that I never expected or had. I had no plans to get into this world. So over the past few years, we've basically earned a PhD in ad tech. We've just learned so much about how things work in the service of understanding how we can disrupt and dismantle the disinformation economy.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, and your knowledge of the infrastructure, as you said, must be getting really deep now, because you kind of figure out how all this stuff works. Not that just some bad stuff is happening, and you're flagging it to brands as well. That's the value that you're adding, right? Is that you're helping brands understand where their money's going and some better choices that they might make.
That's right. We're doing a little bit of, there's every time I learn something new, I realize how little I know. So I would never say that I would never call myself the ad tech expert. Rather, I identify issues and we kind of like dig in, and we get to where we are because of the help we receive from people who are experts. And so I think what we're really good at is like pointing out the problem and digging into the nitty-gritty of the problem in real time on social media, and really bringing people along for the ride with us.
Good. So on that journey that you've been on, so what's been your proudest moment so far?
I actually have a lot of things I'm proud of, but I would say the thing that I think about a lot, particularly this month, is I think it's Women's Month, right? And I'm seeing a lot of posts and stuff about women and the things that women do. And the thing that I'm truly the most proud of is that Claire and I even managed to start this organization and get it to where it is now. We really started from the problem statement. Why are we still notifying advertisers about where their ads are running? And through our collaboration together, we have, with no playbook, we have built this company as a response to, and hopefully a solution to, the problem. And I'm really proud of that work that we've done, because it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been straightforward. And we are challenging ourselves every day and pushing ourselves to take our work to the next level.
Good. Oh, I mean, some bravo to you. Love it. Okay, so let's move. So, best thing about working in media. I mean, you spend a lot of time. Some might say, highlighting issues in media, right? But just from a start point, what's the best thing what is it that draws your interest in media?
Well, I wouldn't say that I work in media, but I certainly watch a lot of media. And I have spent in the past year, particularly September of last year, September 2022, I started to watch Steve Bannon's War Room on my Roku TV, and started to see ads for companies that I knew did not want to be there. So I saw ads for BMW, Audi, Etsy. And I knew from prior experience with these companies running my old my prior campaign, Sleeping Giants, that these brands specifically had blocked their ads from Breitbart, and that they would not want to be on Bannon. And so what I really love to do is to post about it, and the instant gratification that comes from one of these brands coming back to me and saying, we did not want these ads here and we have blocked them. And in this case, we were able to get, I think, over at least a dozen advertisers within just days or weeks to drop their ads from Bannon, and hopefully took a real financial toll on that show and on that channel.
Yeah. And there's kind of two implications here, I suppose, from a marketing industry perspective. I look on the flip side, which is you're helping those marketers make better choices, right? Because you're giving them insight and you're shining a light into places that maybe they didn't see, or that nobody's telling them where their ads are going. And it's a huge concern of marketers. It's like, where I don't see my ads. Like, where are they in this world? Where do they actually appear? So, but I know you're very motivated at kind of defunding disinformation, which is the motivation, isn't it? But the added benefit is that you're helping marketers be more effective and control their brands.
Absolutely. I want to be clear.
Yeah.
I want to be clear that we are on the side of advertisers. We ourselves are marketers. Claire and I, our careers prior to this work was doing marketing, as I mentioned, and we really see the ad tech industry as the problem that needs to be solved. And we see advertisers as ordinary people like us who want to make the right decisions, who want to keep their ads away from hate and disinformation, and who are simply not able to do that very simple thing because their vendors and the industry at large keeps that information away from them. Yeah. And so what we're fighting for is transparency for advertisers.
Good, which is probably takes us to our next question. So is that as where as you see it, that's the biggest challenge? Is it just this lack of transparency or lack of visibility that the marketer has on that supply chain?
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter about transparency in the industry, but the fact is, and it's quite shocking, is that 90% of Google's inventory, well, I should be more specific, their seller accounts in Google's inventory is confidential. So the simple fact of the matter is, if you as an advertiser want to know where your money went, is particularly on the Google Ad Exchange, you cannot trace your money back to an LLC, or you cannot trace your money back to a person. And the reason is because either Google has hidden that information from you, or just not made that information available, or they the sort of last link that Google provides you is a shell corporation. And so we have a situation where an industry that talks about transparency all day long, and the most basic information around where your budget is going is a total secret. And so we don't play in this. A lot of people interpret our work as going after the right or attacking conservative media outlets. But the reality is that we want advertisers to be able to make their own choices. And they can't do that when they don't know where their money goes. Yeah. And so what we actually fight for is advertising transparency. And that transparency to us is release that information. Every advertiser should be able to know where, should be able to track their advertising budget, especially when we're talking about a $400 billion at least industry that is currently completely unaccountable and untrackable.
Yeah. Good. I love that. I just feel like we could spin off into a whole big, deep episode. We've got to come back and actually talk about specifically about the work that you do, because this is really just, this is the Media Snack Meets.
We'll do it.
But this is really important. And regular viewers know that we're very motivated by the idea that brands deserve better media. That's our kind of that's our mantra. Like you and Claire and others in this space are just really helping shine a light on this incredibly tricky thing, which is, for marketers, it's intimidating. It's intimidating kind of not knowing where your money goes. It's also a bit, it's frustrating, obviously, but it can be a bit humiliating to ask the question. I think, you don't want to ask too many questions because you get exposed for not knowing the answer. You should know.
That's the whole premise of where we started. We started with a newsletter. Our newsletter, Branded, is we started that initially because we wanted to document what we were asking, all the stupid questions. We really, we really went, we don't know the first thing about ad tech, and we need to start from scratch. And we learned all those basics from the experts. And they took the time to let us ask the stupid questions, or what we thought were the stupid questions. And that led us to learning really big things, like how do keyword block lists work? And through that, we learned and documented later in Branded that when you put a word on a keyword block list, everything gets blocked with that word in it. And so the way that it's being applied is people, advertisers and their agencies are putting like COVID, pandemic, racism on their block list. And so every time that's reported on in the news, their ads are blocked from it. They essentially block their ads from the news. And so that wasn't a stupid question, was it? I mean, we as marketers use these tools, but we don't understand what happens when we click the button. And that's what we do.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, you have so many good resources. We'll link below this show. And if you're listening on podcast, we'll put them in the show notes as well. All the different things that you do, which, from your email sign up to Nandini has a great TikTok where you break down some of the work that you're doing, which is really entertaining as well. Which I know you've said that you hate recording video, but you're really good at it. Okay, next question. So leadership advice. I'm really curious because you are founders of your own companies as well, and you found success in doing that. There must be something in that, of course. So what leadership advice have you had over the years that you still use and you carry and you find valuable, or what do you give to others to inspire them?
Oh, I love this question. I think I strive every day to assume that I know nothing and to be willing to change course quickly. So a lot of the time, we have a plan, we're setting up to do something, and then something changes. And I think it really is valuable to be able to remain open to change, to remain open to receiving new information and then changing course accordingly. This has often come naturally to me in particular, because because the nature of my work changes every week based on the news cycle. And so I show up to work on Monday morning not knowing what's going to happen. And so sort of instinctually, I'm ready to change course. I'm ready to take that big project we were going to launch this week and move on to something else. And I think it's a really great way to also not only stay agile and responsive to what's happening around you, but also to allow your team to come in and help sort of steer the ship with you.
Yeah, good. I love that. So before your Monday morning, then, where you come in open-minded, you've spent the weekend. I know you probably spend all your weekend watching Fox News, right?
The exact
is that how you relax, or do you have a passion outside of that?
I turn off everything and I go outside and I touch grass. I mean, it's an intense 5 days. We take our weekend seriously.
Good. So where would we find you outside of the work that you're doing? Check My Ads and other places. So where would we find you kind of relaxing away from the industry?
Oh, that's such a great question. I like to use my weekends to work out, to go outside. I've been trying some new classes at the gym and hanging out with friends, brunching, cooking. I love to cook, so I like to do some of my more complex dishes over the weekends. And yeah, that's
good. Very good.
Just relax, because Monday is going to be an onslaught.
Exactly. Okay, so listen, I mean, you see up close, like you're really in the trenches. You see up close, some of the challenges that we've got, some fundamental structural challenges that we have as marketers. But looking ahead, we'll try and be a bit hopeful. Like, where can we get to? Where would you like us to be a year from now?
What is it now? March? What would I like for us to be doing by next March? I think there's really one thing that's on my mind personally, and we as an organization really we really care deeply about this Google issue. I'm really heartened to see that the DOJ has moved forward with another antitrust lawsuit, and we want people. We see Google as being the disinformation economy. Like Google, the disinformation economy is Google, because Google is the one that monetizes all of those disinformation, hate speech, fake news, whatever websites that you see on the internet. And they are the ones that make it impossible for advertisers to block them. And so if we do our jobs well, everyone will be talking about Google next year. And everyone else, just like us, will have honed in on the real source of the disinformation crisis, which is Google.
Good. Well, listen, we could go way deeper on that. I want to learn more about this. But for the moment, Nandini Jammi, co-founder of Check My Ads Institute, thank you so much for joining us.
Who would you like to meet on future episodes? Please let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to the Media Snack channel, where you will also find previous guests, including leading marketing executives from companies like P&G, Uber, LVMH, Mars, IKEA, and many more. Plus, some of the industry's most provocative thought leaders, such as Belinda Smith, Sir Martin Sorrell, Wendy Clark, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Professor Mark Ritson. You can also get alerts to hear about upcoming new guests. If you liked this episode and think someone else would, then please share it. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.